Alright, welcome back everybody. Been a long time since I did anything or made any videos on the F-14. I had it done about a year ago, but there was just too many things that needed to be fixed to make it airworthy or not have any kind of issue. So I've just been kind of lazy about it. I've had a lot of other projects going on, building for people and myself. But I finally got to get back to this, and I've been asking around on the forums about the issues that people have been having, trying to fix all of them that I can before I fly mine. And one of the things that I should have done this when I first installed it, but I thought it would be fine. But the blocks in here for your stab servos are that, I don't even know what it's not the thick or the heavy duty aircraft ply. It's a ply, but it's a very soft ply. And the Asian RF companies love to use it because it's lightweight and it's semi-rigid, but it's nowhere near as strong as your, hold on, yeah, there we go, as your your nice hobby ply that you can get here in the States. And I'm sure you can get it anywhere else around the world. But so what I did, because when I took these off to kind of look over things again, I noticed that the screws were not very tight, and I had tightened them up before, and I guess just over time, me putting the stabs on and moving them here on the table has caused it to loosen, to kind of crush that old wood and made it loose. So that seems more feasible to cause some type of flutter than this servo arm bending, because if this servo arm bends, I mean, these ball bearings, these bearings fit inside a race in the stab, obviously like this, and as it moves up and down, they roll inside that channel, and if it bent, it would either go up or down. Only thing that does, because I was messing around with it on the actual stab itself, from what I could tell, only thing that does is cause a little bit of binding, and could cause these to wear quite a bit. Not really going to give you your slop, to cause flutter or anything like that, but more so binding. And if you have these things as close as you're supposed to, if they twist, you're going to see start to twist. You're going to see an indication, because it's going to put a mark on your actual skin of the aircraft. Because mine's like maybe not even a millimeter off. Excuse me. So, not to say it can't happen, because there's some people saying that these are a little soft, not to use them. But I haven't been able to find a Futaba arm that'll work other than stock. The JR guys have a nice arm that you can take that's just like this, a little bit more heavier duty, and you just cut it to length and drill your hole like you need to. EDF Jim did it on his, but I don't have JR servos, so I'm kind of limited. And the SBs are too fat, so this is really the only option I got, unless I have somebody custom make me one. But what worries me more than this arm is just that box. So what I did was I cut 4, 2 for each side, 1/4 inch aircraft ply blocks, and glued them in on top of the old mounts, making sure, because you have a bulkhead here, and then the bulkheads here. So it's glued to the side, it's glued to the top here, it's glued to the side, it's glued to the bottom, and it's glued to the old blocks. So those are not going anywhere. And when I did that, it made the servo come up too high. Whereas before, I had to add, I had 2 of these spacers underneath it, plus washers to get the proper gap. And it's just not a very good way. You got those washers are not very stable. That might cause a little bit of play itself. So what I did was took my Dremel, and the bit that I have is kind of like a top grind. So you basically can cut down just by touching the top, and it just cuts down. And I essentially removed just a little bit off of each block to get it to where it sits actually better than it was. I mean, it's closer than it was before, but what I did notice now is the servo's completely flush to the surface. Before, it had like a little bit of an angle to it, so it would touch up the top and have a bigger gap down here. So now the gap is equal distance all the way around. That's what you want. So you don't have any bending like this already put into the servo itself. And I lined up with the center of this to the center of the servo. And I've got some longer servo screws to kind of go through both blocks. And these things are not going anywhere now. So we'll see. Hopefully it goes well. You know, mine's going to be on the heavier side. So that's kind of my worry, you know, because I know Jim, he keeps his real light, and mine's going to be kind of on the opposite side of that. It's going to be on the heavier, probably of the F-14s flying, but we'll see. I already went back and changed out the servo rod, or the control rod, in the rudders, put a carbon tube over a threaded rod and beefed those up. I got all the slop out of the hinges by putting some high sol in the old holes and basically retapping for the correct size on those. So I got to get the other, I got to cut the other blocks and get the other servo mounted back in, and then I'm going to move on. I got the new air cylinders they sent me, the new locking cylinders. So I got to put those on and see if I can come up with a way to kind of slow the gear coming down, because I guess when these things slam down, it's either breaking that ball or pulling these apart. But I did notice that the new air cylinders have a lot more thread going into the chamber of the cylinder. These only had like maybe 1/8 of an inch. So they are a little stronger, but it is the same plastic end and everything. So if I can't slow the gear coming down because I'm using a sequencer, you know, if I was just using my radio to action my mechanical valve, I could put a servo slow on one side of the servo. But because I'm using that sequencer, because I have the failsafe, I don't know if I can actually adjust the speed at which you know, that valve operates. It may only do it for the travel period. So if I put a slow on it, it may slow down the action on the up, which is not what you want, because you're going to need every bit of the up as you can get to get these things up, because the people are having to run 120 psi to get them up in the aircraft. So but like I said, just a little update on this, and you know, I posted about it on the forum on RC Universe under the Skymaster F-14 thread, you know, and some people kind of chimed in, but you know, it was almost like they were upset that I was saying something or asking the questions, and you know, it wasn't my intent. I'm not trying to start any kind of conflict or anything. I saw somebody posted that 4 of these things have crashed here in the States, you know, and I knew about one. The other 3 were kind of a mystery. Somebody else pointed out the second one, but the other 2 are still kind of a mystery. And like I said, I'm just trying to set myself up for success, so I don't, you know, waste $20,000 for no reason when it could have been avoided, and to help people out behind me that have one, you know. So anyways, that's all RC drama. Ain't nobody got time for that. But yeah. Other than that, like I said, as soon as I get those back together, I got to recheck the balance because I'd redone the front end. But once the balance is done, it'll be done again. And just got to work on getting it maidened. I do have a place I can fly. It's about an hour away. But I'm still not comfortable with that site yet. So maybe I can get down there when the weather warms up every weekend and get comfortable with it. And get this thing maidened down there. Oh yeah, Avanti is sold. It's going to Ohio State University. Yeah, one of their aerospace department contacted me and bought it. They're coming this weekend to pick it up. They're going to actually make it into a UAV. So it'll be pretty neat, pretty interesting stuff. And they're going to keep me kind of involved. I'm going to help them get it back flying and everything. So pretty neat project. But anyways, you guys take it easy. It's kind of a long-winded video. But if you have any questions about this thing, check RC Universe. A lot of some information there. Kind of hard to get right now because people don't really like to talk bad about Skymaster, but they're all the same. All the manufacturers are the same. They all got problems, so there's no reason why we shouldn't try to get them fixed. So you guys take it easy, and till next time, later.